I'm going to take the next question from Palwasha Kakar, who's at the United States Institute of Peace. I'm interested in hearing more about Pastor Ed's work with evangelical pastors. How do you help them identify and work on de-radicalization? Do you build on the international CVE, countering violent extremism work in this area, or how does it differ in your understanding?
First, we don't call it de-radicalization. That's the first thing, but because nobody sees themselves as that. But I get exactly what you're saying, and I appreciate the work of de-radicalization. The language I use at the beginning and the way, because I've written a lot to try to persuade evangelicals on some of these issues. And I actually have, I know it's very easy for us to sit back and say, oh, those QAnoners. Well, I actually have friends in the who are self-identified QAnoners in the evangelical community, who actually text me when I'm being discussed on QAnon message boards, and they say they defend me on those message boards, but that's another story for another day. So for me, I try to frame in such a way that people can receive the message. And again, for us, that often comes around in terms of discipleship. I talked about this on NPR's Morning Edition, and the host asked me, and I struggled because it's insider baseball language. I said, so there are things, I explained, that as Christians, we want to disciple in, and things that as Christians we want to disciple out. So what needs to be discipled in 2021? Well, it might be seeing yourself as a world Christian, seeing that men and women from every tongue, tribe, and nation that's frequent language in the pages of the scriptures. It might be helping people to see that, and the language I often use is that we should not be among the gullible. And I actually would point out, I do, just so we're clear, I do believe, and I've bet my whole life on the fact that there was a person who was dead on Friday and on Sunday was back from the dead. And everything I believe and is framed and shaped around that reality. But I do point out how, as our Christian witness is impacted, the last slide that I didn't get to because I went too long in the first session actually talks about the danger to our Christian witness. I lead the Wheaton College Billy Graham Center, so I care deeply about our Christian witness. And I pointed out somebody who kept posting about this QAnon conspiracy and this QAnon conspiracy and this one. And then it came to Easter and they said, oh, and Jesus rose from the dead. And I would just say it's really hard to persuade a world about a supernatural event called the resurrection. And when you've posted 6 other things about bizarre conspiracy theories, from pizza, Comet Ping Pong to Seth Rich, and some of you know these different references, to Wayfair, to whatever else it may be. So I do try to frame it around. I will say that Jesus literally himself says he is the truth. And I try to remind people that the last conspiracy, so many people jumped in the Wayfair conspiracy. Some of you missed that, but it became a thing for a few days. And I encourage people to go back lovingly to those people and say, listen, that obviously wasn't the case. Or somebody showed up at the Comet Ping Pong with a gun to find the basement, and there was no basement. And so at which point do you say, I've been fooled 4 times? But yeah, here's the thing. That's not going to happen when their pastor pulls them aside, when they're friends. And so what we've actually done, even in my own church, had someone upset and leave because I have been advocating for vaccines. And they said, I've, been fooled and tricked. And, I have noticed that since I took the vaccine, my 5G cell phone reception is just way better, but that's another story for another day. Sorry. I appreciate you getting the joke there, Arena. and Joan, I got it. But what I would say is that what we did is when that person posted, I'm leaving the church because our teaching pastor is for vaccines. We just had somebody go and say, and talk to them. And I think they still left mad, but they also now engage a different congregation and seem to have moderated their views some. So remember, the people are best persuaded by people they already trust. And I think that's going to be a key thing for co-religionists, not just in evangelicalism, like I am, but for other religions as well.